The BrahMos, also designated as PJ-10, is a medium-range stealth ramjet supersonic cruise missile that can be launched from submarine, ships, aircraft or land, notably being the fastest supersonic cruise missile in the world. It is a joint venture between the Indian Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO, and the Russian Federation's NPO Mashinostroyeniya, who together have formed BrahMos Aerospace. It is based on the Russian P-800 Onyx supersonic anti-ship cruise missile. The name BrahMos is a portmanteau formed from the names of two rivers, the Brahmaputra of India and the Moskva of Russia. It is the world's fastest anti-ship cruise missile currently in operation. The land-launched and ship-launched versions are already in service. An air-launched variant of BrahMos appeared in 2012 and entered service in 2019. A hypersonic version of the missile, BrahMos-II, is also presently under development with a speed of Mach 7 to 8 to boost aerial fast strike capability. It was expected to be ready for testing by 2024. Its propulsion is based on the Russian missile, and missile guidance has been developed by BrahMos Aerospace. The missile is expected to reach a total order of $13 billion. In 2016, as India became a member of the Missile Technology Control Regime, MTCR, India and Russia are now planning to jointly develop a new generation of BrahMos missiles with 800 km range and an ability to hit protected targets with pinpoint accuracy. Plans are to eventually upgrade all missiles to a range of 1,500 km. BrahMos was first test-fired on June 12, 2001 from the Integrated Test Range, ITR, Chandipur in a vertical launch configuration. On June 14, 2004, another test was conducted at ITR and BrahMos was fired from a mobile launcher. On March 5, 2008, the land attack version of the missile was fired from the destroyer INS Rajput and the missile hit and destroyed the right target among a group of targets. The vertical launch of BrahMos was conducted on December 18, 2008 from INS Ranveer. The BrahMos-I Block I for the Army was successfully tested with new capabilities in the deserts of Rajasthan, at a test range near Pokhran in December 2004 and March 2007. During a user trial on January 20, 2009, BrahMos was tested with a new navigation system but it failed to hit the target. BrahMos Aerospace Corporation's director Dr. A. Shivathanupillai said, "The missile performance was absolutely normal until the last phase, but the missile missed the target, though it maintained the direction. And that the problem was in the software, not hardware." The Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO, said that there were small hitches in the last stage of the test firing due to delay in input of satellite navigation input to the inertial navigation system. The missile traveled for 112 seconds instead of the slated 84 seconds and fell 7 kilometers away from the target. According to BrahMos Corporation, another test of the new missile was to be conducted within 1 month, but it was eventually conducted on March 4, 2009 and was deemed successful. BrahMos was test-fired again on March 29, 2009. For the test, the missile had to identify a building among a cluster of buildings in an urban environment. BrahMos successfully hit the intended target in 2.5 minutes of launch. According to official sources, the new seeker is unique and would help us to hit our targets, which are insignificant in terms of size, in a cluster of large buildings. India is now the only nation in the world with this advanced technology. After the third test, Lieutenant General Nobel Thambaraj said that the Indian Army wanted the BrahMos to achieve high standards of accuracy and congratulated the scientists on behalf of the Indian Army. The Indian Army confirmed that the test was successful and the Army is satisfied with the missile. This marking the completion of the development phase of BrahMos Block II, and it was ready for induction. The September 5, 2010 test of BrahMos created a world record for being the first cruise missile to be tested at supersonic speeds in a steep dive mode. The missile was test-fired from the Integrated Test Range Launching Complex 3, LC-3, at Chandipur around 11:35 a.m. With this launch, the Indian Army's requirement for land attacks with Block II advanced seeker software with target discriminating capabilities was met. BrahMos became the only supersonic cruise missile possessing advanced capability of selection of a particular land target amongst a group of targets, providing an edge to the user with precise hit. Block 3 has advanced guidance and upgraded software, incorporating high maneuvers at multiple points and steep dive from high altitude. It will be deployed in Arunachal Pradesh. It can engage ground targets from an altitude as low as 10 meters for surgical strikes without any collateral damage. It is capable of being launched from multiple platforms like submarines, ships, aircraft and land-based mobile autonomous launchers, MAL. On August 12, 2011, it was test-fired by ground forces and met all mission parameters. The new navigation system uses an Indian chip called GPS, GLONASS, Gagan on a module. The system weighs around 17 grams, and gives accuracy below 5 meters using Indian, US and Russian navigation satellites. The system can be used in tandem with an inertial navigation system, INS, to provide high accuracy targeting without using any seeker. BrahMos was tested with an Indian seeker for the first time on March 22, 2018, and was tested with an India-developed propulsion system, airframe and power supply on September 30, 2019. On September 30, 2020, India successfully test-fired an extended-range BrahMos supersonic cruise missile. The supersonic cruise missile is capable of hitting targets at more than 400 kilometers range. The test was carried out under BrahMos project of the Defense Research and Development Organization, DRDO, under which the missile was launched with an indigenous booster. The missile was launched from a land-based facility in Odisha. This is the second test firing of the extended-range version of the missile, which has an indigenously developed airframe and booster. The submarine-launched variant of BrahMos was test-fired successfully for the first time from a submerged pontoon near Visakhapatnam at the coast of Bay of Bengal on March 20, 2013. This was the first vertical launch of a supersonic missile from a submerged platform. The missile can be launched from a depth of 40 to 50 meters, 130 to 160 feet. In late January 2016, Russia confirmed that future Indian-made submarines would be armed with smaller version of the missile that could fit inside a torpedo tube. The BrahMos-II is a modified air-launched variant of the missile with a range of 500 kilometers, which can be launched from a Sukhoi Su-30 Mki as a standoff weapon. To reduce the missile's weight to 2.55 tons, many modifications were made, like using a smaller booster, adding fins for airborne stability after launch, and relocating the connector. It can be released from the height of 500 to 14,000 meters, 1,640 to 46,000 feet. After release, the missile free falls for 100 to 150 meters, then goes into a cruise phase at 14,000 meters and finally the terminal phase at 15 meters. BrahMos Aerospace planned to deliver the missile to the IAF in 2015, where it is expected to arm at least 3 squadrons. A Su-30 Mki is able to only carry one BrahMos missile. In 2016, India became a member of the MTCR. India and Russia are now planning to jointly develop a new generation of BrahMos missiles with 1,500 km plus range and an ability to hit protected targets with pinpoint accuracy. On November 24, 2020, DRDO successfully test-fired upgraded 800 km BrahMos variant. This upgrade will also be applied to all existing BrahMos missiles. BrahMos-NG, next generation, is a mini version based on the existing BrahMos, will have same 290 km range and Mach 3.5 speed, but it will weigh around 1.5 tons, 5 meters in length and 50 centimeters in diameter, making BrahMos-NG 50% lighter and 3 meters shorter than its predecessor. The system is expected to be inducted on the year 2024. BrahMos-NG will have lesser RCS, radar cross-section, compared to its predecessor, making it harder for air defense systems to locate and engage the target. BrahMos-NG will have land, air, shipborne and submarine tube-launched variants. The first test flight is expected to take place in 2022-24. Initially, BrahMos-NG was referred to as BrahMos-M. Additionally, the BrahMos-NG will have an ESA radar rather than the mechanically scanned one on the BrahMos. The missile will arm the Sukhoi Su-30 Mki, Mikoyan MiG-29K, HAL Tejas and future inductions such as the Dassault Rafale, and HAL MWF. Submarine-launched variant will be capable of being fired from the new P-75I class of submarines. A model of the new variant was showcased on February 20, 2013, at the 15th anniversary celebrations of BrahMos Corporations. The Sukhoi Su-30 Mki would carry 3 missiles while other combat aircraft would carry 1 each. BrahMos Aerospace is planning to manufacture BrahMos-NG in Uttar Pradesh. The Indian Air Force already confirmed a requirement of 400 missile that will cost around 8,000 crore and be delivered within 5 years of time period. The missile is likely to be ready in late 2022. BrahMos claims it has the capability of attacking surface targets by flying as low as 5 meters in altitude, and the maximum altitude it can fly is 15,000 meters. It has a diameter of 70 centimeters and a wingspan of 1.7 meters. It can gain a speed of Mach 3.5, and has a maximum range of 650 kilometers. The ship-launched and land-based missiles can carry a 200 kilograms warhead, whereas the aircraft-launched variant, BrahMos-A, can carry a 300 kilograms warhead. It has a 2-stage propulsion system, with a solid propellant rocket for initial acceleration and a liquid-fueled ramjet responsible for sustained supersonic cruise. Air-breathing ramjet propulsion is much more fuel-efficient than rocket propulsion, giving the BrahMos a longer range than a pure rocket-powered missile would achieve. The high speed of the BrahMos likely gives it better target penetration characteristics than lighter subsonic cruise missiles, such as Tomahawk. Being twice as heavy and almost 4 times as fast as Tomahawk, the BrahMos has more than 32 times the on-cruise kinetic energy of a Tomahawk missile, although it carries only 3/5 the payload and a fraction of the range, which suggests that the missile was designed with a different tactical role. Its Mach 2.8 speed means that it cannot be intercepted by some existing missile defense systems, and its precision makes it lethal to water targets. Although BrahMos was primarily an anti-ship missile, the BrahMos Block 3 can also engage land-based targets. It can be launched either in a vertical or inclined position and is capable of covering targets over a 360-degree horizon. The BrahMos missile has an identical configuration for land, sea, and subsea platforms. The air-launched version has a smaller booster and additional tail fins for added stability during launch. The BrahMos has currently been configured for aerial deployment with the Su-30 MKI as its carrier. On September 5, 2010, BrahMos created a record for the first supersonic steep dive.